All right, here we go. Scouting trip to Big Flat Brook in New Jersey. I'm using the action camera here, so I got to do a voiceover play-by-play. This is right near the parking lot 206 bridge, and bam, on the board. Video looks really blown out right now while I'm doing this, so I apologize for the exposure, but I think that first fish I caught on a dart, if I remember right. Nice little stalker, it looks like. Good start. I'm working over, there's a deep part up to the right, and it dumps in around there. You can see it. Hopefully this exposure fixes itself. That's just the trouble with the action cam. But drifting indicator through that slack water. Oh, quick releaser. And just trying to cover the whole thing. It got a kind of little bit of a back swirl, but not that much. Kind of riding that seam. You can hear the wind in the background. And I got two smaller flies on right now. One shiny and one just a normal waltz. But I'm going to switch up to some killer stuff here pretty quickly. It was super cold. It was after work. Oh, there we go. I'm going to get him in time. Yep. Just another little stocky. Rainbows. Just scouting. Figured I'd bring the camera, try it. See what happens. Not really, spending a lot of time in each spot. Just checking them out. If I catch fish, I hang around. If not, move on. I'm learning the river. First time I ever been there. It's my first time fly fishing in New Jersey. And I gotta say, I like it. It's going to be on the rotation for sure. So I've been looking and not seeing fish too much. Don't see much feeding activity. So I started drifting the slower stuff. Like you can barely see that indicator out in front of me. It's barely moving. Just to see if maybe they're hanging right off the edge of the chute. Because it's so cold. I think it even started snowing a couple times. You'll hear the wind kick up. It was just target of opportunity. It's within an hour of my house, so I figured I'd roll up there and check it out. It's also hard to keep it in frame with the action camera, but I figured I'd publish the video anyways because it was a successful scouting mission. Obviously, I'm catching fish. So I think at this point, since it seems to be a whole ton of stalkers here, I'm switching to a cream mop. And you're going to see they're going to be huge fans. I think as soon as I start getting it out in the current, right on the edge, they just start whacking it. And it does go for a little ways. It's pretty deep out there, and a few fishermen came and saw me in the hole and walked down further. This is right literally at the parking spot. So it's a good scouting mission. Got the 10'6" 3-weight. I think that leader is 14-pound to 10-pound cider. I'm running probably about 4 feet, 5x tippet. This might actually be where I'm tying on the mop. Might have had it wrong. We'll know here in a second. Listen to that wind. Awesome. You'll love to see it, right? Almost May. Freezing. Alright, so if a fish whales it right away, then this is the mop. Yep. So, was getting some luck on some other patterns, some waltz, some bow torch, some red dart. And then I just decided to bring the thunder. And not even 2 seconds after it hit the water, they started smashing it. Don't know why I was showing myself that fish, but maybe I was showing you guys. Alright, second cast, cream mop. Looking good, looking good. Right in the gut. Boom. Down she goes. I probably should have kept just going, but for some reason I decided to redo something, or I can't remember what, but I either checked the camera or I did something. I could have gone for a hat trick, but I forget what happens here. Maybe it gets tangled. Nope, put them back in. Yep, I think I decided to check the camera. And so I ruined the rhythm. I think we're going to get a miss here. I can't remember. We'll see. But I should have just kept fishing because they were really hammering it. It looked like 2 in a row. Yeah, so that messed up that. But just working it more. Like trying to get that indicator to go through every piece of slack water that I can see in front of me. And they're just loaded in there. They're nothing big, but like not tiny fish either. They were, you know, decent fish. I'll catch them. Whoop, quick releaser. You hate to see that. I'm just plopping that indicator and then getting tight to it. Kind of see the line, but the glare is just vicious. It's kind of embarrassing how bad this glare is. There you go, Derek. Tie it up. Tangle it up good. Get it wrapped around there a couple more 100 times. Now I'm just working this water, and you know, it was the second place I tried. The first place was a little bit shallow and a little fast, so I thought, well, maybe up there there's some calm water, and there was. It's right near the parking lot. So I went through my fly patterns and landed on a cream mop and just started smashing fish. I think I stay here a good 15 minutes, maybe even a half an hour. Just because I wasn't sure. This is just above, I think, catch and release, so I wasn't sure if maybe there'd be some holdovers left up in this big, deep part. And while I'm catching fish, it's really hard to move, especially when you're at a new river for the first time. If you start catching fish, you got to take advantage of that. It's a really nice spot. This would be an excellent spot to take someone to teach them how to either traditional fly fish or your own nymph tight line it. Either way, I think it'd be outstanding. So kudos to Jersey for having such a pretty accessible and nice stream. I can't wait to go back when it's a lot warmer and a lot less windier, because there are some riffles that I cannot wait to tightline. So I clearly can see I'm still riding the Cream mop bandwagon. It's a wagon. Everybody get on board. Kind of see the indicator center screen. There. Oh. That looked fishy. So get right back there. Near that area. Bam, down it goes. You know, you just got to have that finger clamping that line to the rod. Get ready. Doesn't take much. Pull back. Just a little hair trigger. This one's being obstinate. Didn't want to come in. Probably could have switched the camera angle up to the right where it's dumping in. Now that I'm thinking about it, and it would have been, you would have gotten to see a lot more hook sets than the ones just straight out in front of me. So note to self. That one was giving me a little trouble. All right, next spot is this nice little chute. Just checking the focus on the camera there. That's one of the drawbacks of filming. If you're filming yourself, you got to make sure you're in frame. I really don't like the first person view no more. I just can't handle it. So when I'm scouting, I'll just put the action camera on a tripod like this, and we'll just have to deal with the crappy audio and the voiceover coaching. All right, so taking the indicator off, because this is a, you know, a lot better, deeper into the season shoot with this fast water. But you can see over on the other side that it's going a little bit slower over there. So what I was figuring was if I could get it near there and just kind of hold it steady, maybe there'd be some takers. Now this is in the catch and release part down below the 206 bridge. It's just the start of it, the upper reaches of it. And I think it goes for like 4 miles. A couple drifts, bam. Green mop taker. And quick release. You hate to see it. Looks like I swore there. I know I swore. Next drift. Nothing. Way extending that drift. Alright, just plopping it over into that seam and then letting it go through the current. Nice, bud. Thanks for revving your car during a fish catch. You love... Oh, quick releaser. I blame that guy revving the car. There's no need to just accelerate like that from a stop sign. Now, third drift, fourth drift. I can't keep track. It's hard watching yourself fish and commentating over it. We're up to like 5-6 drifts now. 2 misses. So I must have heard something behind me. Bam. There it is. That was center of that little soft water pocket over the other side, swirling backwards, and the chute. So like I said, I mean, that's just beautiful looking. Even looking the distance around that corner where that riffle is, it just looks outstanding. So you're going to see more videos from here with the full big rig total production. As long as Mother Nature cooperates. All right, let's get back in there one more time. What do we got? What do we got? Nope. No. You hate to see that. All right, next spot is a great little waterfall, and as you can see that slack water over to the side, so you just know there's fish there. This is an automatic. It's ripping in front of me. I've got that in between me and the fish, and it should be just a no-brainer. Nice little cast in there, get tight, really short line, watch that sighter, and should be within the first few drifts. And this is the entire sequence of me setting up at this spot. And you see, I don't know, a second or third drift. Now that was a long time below, but it's so cold out that I was just kind of riding it through. Or I shouldn't say a long time below, it was just far below me when I caught that fish. But you see that soft water over there, that's what I'd been catching them in. And I hadn't been catching fish in the fast water. I think that's because it got so cold. I don't think it, with the wind chill, is probably near 40. It might even have been below. But again, cream mop. Looks like stock fish to me. I don't care. I don't live out west. Stock fish, wild fish. I'm here to catch trout. That's it. So, you want to point me in the direction of some crazy wild fish, I'll go catch them. But I'll just as soon go catch stockies. Doesn't bother me. It's us against Mother Nature. Let's not pick battles here. Let's win the ones we can. So, second drift, or third drift? Maybe third. Who knows? Shouldn't count. But again, back into that slack is where I've been catching fish. So I've been just trying to keep it next to the fast water without it just getting sucked in and shot down, which that's what that mop fly is helping me do. It's got a lot of weight. And I can just ride that edge right at my rod tip, which you can't really see because of the water, but it's there. Wondering why I'm not catching more fish. Should be some more fish in here. Bam. See a little tightening. Set the hook and quick release. You hate to see it. Check that hook. There's nothing wrong with it, Derek. Get it back in there. And this is a good indicator of when I'm proofing out a river, I don't have a camera, I'm just walking through random trout stream of, how many drifts it takes to figure out where the fish are and covering, from you to the other side, trying to cover as much water as you possibly can with good drifts, and don't, one or two drift it and then pack up your shet and get out of there. You got to put a bunch of drifts in the spots, especially if you see spots like this that are fish there. You got to put the time in, and you should probably change flies. But I was getting late on time. Oh, there we go, another one. I was getting late on time. I did this after work and don't really know where I am in the woods, so didn't really want to be walking out in the pitch black. But there's two fish in about 4 or 5 minutes, maybe a dozen drifts. So just put the time in. They're going to be there. If it looks like it's fishy water and it's a trout stream, there's fish there. So fire some flies through. What you're doing's not working, you change it. I think I caught 2, missed 1, so I'm sticking with it. Now I'm just trying to go a little bit further off the camera. You can't see, there's a nice huge foam thing and like a cove. So I just bomb it through that cove and pull it out nice and slow with the rod tip into the current, and then do like your standard traditional up and across strip. There's another one right in front of me, right at the rod tip. All these are on cream mop. Which should be an easy fly to take out of a fish's mouth with the big tail, but it never is. If it doesn't flop out when they get to the net, you gotta mess around. And then of course get hooked in the net. Now what am I doing? I must not have liked something. I'm cutting off the dropper, putting a different trying some different dropper. That's what it looks like I'm doing. And I caught some fish, so switch it up, see if something else brings something out. Chances are really good it's a thread Frenchie, Pleva Perdigon, blowtorch, or red dart. Could be a waltz worm though also. But it's one of those. I didn't really keep track. I apologize. Short on time, after work, scouting mission. Hopefully going back Saturday to really explore some more water. And I just kept this whole clip in because this was me proofing out what I thought was a good fishy looking spot. I didn't run any drifts through the heavy stuff because I hadn't seen or gotten a hit up above this spot in any heavy water. It was all where there was a calm seam where I could see that had 2 or 3 or 4 feet of deep depth, and the fish seemed to be hanging right in that stuff. I really wish the sun was better so you could see the cider. You can barely see it sometimes. But it was just flowing straight through. Good drift all the way. Alright, moving on. So I saw that corner down there. And it looked like it'd be nice. So I grabbed the camera and headed on down to it. Now I'm fishing downstream. That's less than ideal, but I have no idea about this river system. But I could tell you right now, I know that that has fish in it. And I just see that one rise right there. Now I probably didn't see it rise because I was monkeying around with the goddamn camera, but this is fishier than hell, especially for an indicator or a dry dropper. Look at this foam line just coming straight down. And don't fall there. Get yourself straight. Okay, check the focus. Like all these things you got to do when you're nice wind. Boy, you love to see the wind like that, right? I could have freaking hang glidered right out of there. But look at this foam line coming in. Got a back swirl there. You can see it. And I'm just going to get on the other side of that rippled water and let that indicator ride right to me. Might have been bottom, don't remember. Well, this is the second drift in, coming right through the chute. And the wind blowing the leader back upstream, even with the indicator, it's just horrific. We can't catch a break in April this year, I swear. Alright, third drift maybe? I lost count already. I was already distracted. Bam. Right on the other side of that foam line. Easing on through. Fish sitting right where a fish should be. I think it was get about 7 o'clock at night now. Now, of course, exposure looks great. It's another thing about action cams. You just can't control much stuff. Well, yeah, that was another green mop eater. Alright, so I wanted to cover above where I just was, so I switched the camera around and I'm actually started tight lining a little bit because this was a little bit faster and the wind died down. And so I was letting it rip right through the middle of here. These are, like I said to myself, you can do 10 more drifts and then you gotta leave. So I think what I changed up, probably got a blowtorch waltz or a red dart waltz, maybe thread Frenchie waltz, but started changing flies quicker because I only had limited time. And I believe within the next couple drifts, we're going to see a fly change back to, why don't you stick with what was working? Yeah, that looks like pissed off shoulder shrug. Maybe not, though. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I switched back to mop at the end. Nope, I didn't. And that's that. So that's me exploring a river. Hopefully I can do a full production next time. And we'll see what happens.